John chapter 21, 1 through 14 says this: Later, Jesus appeared to the disciples by the Sea of Galilee. This is how it happened. Several of his disciples were there: Simon Peter, Thomas, nicknamed the twin, and Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and the two other disciples. Simon Peter said, "I'm going fishing." "We'll come too," they all said. So they went out in the boat, but they caught nothing all night. At the dawn, the disciples saw Jesus standing on the beach, but they couldn't see who it was. He called out, "Friends, have you caught any fish?" "No," they replied. Then he said, "Throw out your net on the right side of the boat and you'll get plenty of fish." So they did. And they couldn't draw on the net because there were so many fish in it. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on his tunic, for he had stripped for work, jumped into the water and swam ashore. The others stayed in the boat and pulled the load into the shore. And they were only about 300 feet out. When they got there, they saw the charcoal fire was burning and fish were frying over it, and there was bread. "Bring some of the fish you had just caught," Jesus said. So Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net ashore. There were 153 large fish, and yet the net hadn't torn. "Now come and have some breakfast," Jesus said. And no one dared ask him if he was really the Lord, because they were sure of it. Jesus served them the bread and the fish. It was the third time Jesus had appeared to his disciples since he had been raised from the dead. What's amazing is Jesus is appearing to the disciples a similar way he already did. In Luke chapter 5, it records the story of when, Jesus, did the miracle of casting the net and bringing in the fish. He's doing it again, showing him that he's the Messiah. It's such a loving reminder to the disciples and just a beautiful picture of how Christ is so amazing. What's so cool is Jesus invites the disciples for some breakfast. He makes some fish. He makes some bread. Man, this is probably the coolest fish fry ever. I don't know about you, but I would just love to have a breakfast meal, a fish meal with Jesus. I wonder how he likes his fish. He probably, I don't know if he likes, salmon, tilapia. I'm really big into swordfish because I just went to Florida and had it for the first time. It was really good. Anyway, we're getting off track. The Bible says in verse 13, this was the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples since he had been raised from the dead. And we know the other account is when Jesus, he appeared in the room and showed them his nails, his nail wounds and his scars. What's really cool is Peter's the one who jumps out and runs to Jesus. Now, this is a really big moment for Peter because Peter, the last time he saw Jesus, he was denying him. And we're about to see in the next video that I'm about to make in John chapter 21, Jesus is going to restore Peter back to a relationship with Jesus.